Ele Shaman Mythic Plus guide. What's up guys, Petko here. I know you've been waiting for this for a long time and you've been pesterizing me, DMing me. When is the guide coming? It's coming today. So pay attention, buckle up. The next 10 minutes are going to be crucial to understand how to play Ele in Season 3. First thing first, beginning from builds, you're still going to be playing the old build with the old 4-piece up until you get the new 4-piece. I will not be swapping 2-piece in 2-piece unless I actually need more stamina to live. In that case, I might do so. But in any other scenario, you would like to hold the same build up until you get the new 4-piece tier set, okay? As soon as you do, this is the build that you're going to be playing the whole expansion. The only argument here is going to be the 2P, the first Ascendant against 3 minutes. I'm going to begin playing 3 minutes myself personally. And as soon as I acquire this trinket right here, which I'll talk about trinkets later on, a Ras Ritual Forge, I will immediately swap to 2 minutes. That's going to be my plan long term unless something changes. What is the difference between the old build and the new build? Honestly, it's pretty minor. The only new button here is going to be Primordial Wave. And in that case, you'll be pressing Primordial Wave only when you get a deity proc or you get, for example, your Ascendance cast, etc. That's it. No less, no more. Now, technically, you can swap Charge Conduit for LMT if you like to have, for example, more consistent damage throughput and be able to cast Primordial Wave more often. But because I'm getting so much deity procs from the tier set, from the Ascendance itself, deity as well, I feel like I don't want to sacrifice Charge Conduit, especially if you know how to min-max Charge Conduit in AoE for LMT, and that's why. But you can play with LMT if you want to, and then remove Charge Conduit, perfectly fine. Both ways you're gonna be fine. But this is gonna be my build as soon as I get my new 4-piece. Okay. Just to clear the air about Farseer, Farseer is gonna be only raid build. You will not be playing Farseer in Mythic Plus, even in like Tazavesh streets, even in like, you know, those pure single target bosses or dungeons. The only way I'm gonna play Farseer in dungeons is gonna be Tazavesh hard mode, where actually single target is the only thing that matters there. So that's the only way. I will not dive into Farseer in Mythic Plus because I'm not gonna play it. But if you guys are interested, all of you, I can talk about Farseer at some other point. Maybe make a separate video about Farseer raiding, etc. But you let me know in the comments. I mean, I usually do what you guys ask me anyway. All right. So after we're done with the builds, you guys know what's up. Let's talk about stats. So stats, pretty much, they are gonna be slightly changing. Don't look at my stats on PTR; they are completely random because I don't have any crafted gear. But you always want to go with Intellect, Mastery, Haste, Verse, Crit. Okay, that's going to be the stats you're going to be following. Similar to last season, unless, obviously, not as similar because now you're going to be playing more Haste compared to more Crit. There's several reasons why you're going to play more Haste. First and foremost is going to be your new tier set. Take a look at your new tier set, okay? So pretty much every 9 Awakening Storms, you'll be getting your deity, okay? And how do you get Awakening Storms? Ta-da! More casts. How do you get more casts? More chain lightning, more haste. Ta-da! Simple math, right? So that's why you want to have more haste. However, there is a, in my opinion, diminishing return of max haste because you'll be playing Primordial Wave, which gives you a lot of haste during Ascendance anyway. So I think long-term late game with max gear, playing 2 minutes with the Aras Trinket and the haste amp from P-Wave might be just as competitive as playing 3 minutes. And it's much easier to play around 2 minutes in a pug group than playing 3. That's why the argument comes 2 against 3 minutes, but both are going to be fine builds. If you don't like 3 minutes, play 2, vice versa, okay? So yeah, I think that's about stats. The question about crit and versatility, those are going to be your lowest saving stat. Obviously, you should definitely go ahead and sim yourself to find the best secondary stats. But I myself, I'm going to be aiming for at least around 21-ish K mastery. My haste is going to be around 25 to 30%. And then the rest I'm going to dump to verse and critical strike. Again, go ahead, sim yourself. I've already done so many sims on PTR. And that's the sweet spot for me, give or take. I might change my stats down the season again. Depends if I need more survivability, especially versatility. It looks like there are a lot of raw damage inside Season 3. A lot of heavy healing encounters. So I might find it difficult to lift, hence why I might stack a lot more versatility, even if I lose damage in AoE compared to crit. Keep in mind that crit gives you a lot of AoE damage, but single target wise, there's barely any value compared to versatility or haste, hence why you don't want to have too much crit, but instead swap to verse. Anyway, that being said, Reshi Wrap is the next question. Reshi rep, obviously, I've chosen to have mastery socket. You can have haste if you like to, but if you pretty much you can substitute. If your gear lacks haste, go haste. If your gear lacks mastery, go mastery. That's gonna be a choice. Mastery is gonna be the default option for Reshi rep sockets, though, at least for Shamans. Trinkets, I've already barely touched on the trinkets, but your best all-news trinket is gonna be Aras Ritual Forge, especially once you get it. You might want to have 2 minutes, but up until you get Aras Ritual Forge, I am gonna be trying to get my Lily trinket from the new dungeon Echo Dome Aldani. It's right here, which I think is pretty good, a minute and a half trinket, which is gonna be played mostly with Ascendance. So that's gonna be my go-to trinket. At least I'm gonna try to get an active trinket. And if I don't get it, and if I get, for example, the trinket from Priority, this one, then I'll still play 2 minutes with this Priority trinket. So I guess it depends what I'll get at the beginning, first couple weeks of Mythic Plus or raiding. So bit of RNG. And as a passive trinket, there are a lot of good ones. It depends if you raid or not raid. I'm gonna mention several ones so you guys can pay attention. So obviously the what is it? This one, Void Quest, is pretty good, especially if you have the Void Dagger. I don't know, if you don't raid, maybe don't look at these, but if you don't raid, choose the Arakara trinket, which is pretty good passive trinket to have. The Echo Dome Aldana has also pretty good passive trinket from the first boss. Let me show you right now. It's right, this one here, Ashkirakia Parapodia, whatever the name is. That's also pretty good passive trinket. Worst case worse, you can always play the trinket from Downbreaker's passive as well. See, there's quite decent passive trinkets from Mythic Plus, but I think ultimately the best trinkets come from raid. So I know the first couple weeks you cannot choose pretty much anything, so play whatever you can, but make sure to sim your character in case something changes. Embellishment and crafts. Okay, so that's a very hot topic. What exactly am I going to be crafting with the first spark? It's really dependent. So after the first heroic clear, if I don't get a weapon, I'm going to craft weapon. Even though weapon craft might not be beneficial long term, it's a short term power gain. Ultimately, if you get a weapon, you can craft offhand, which is going to be amazing craft for you. So either offhand or a main hand is what I will craft. And as embellishment, I'm going to begin with Ascendance embellishment. Ascending or ascend, whatever. And then I'm going to try to get myself the amplifier for Ascendance on your bracer. On your belt, don't do that because your belt is already the overcharged belt. The boots are going to be the boots that make your Reshi rep proc more. Back is going to be legendary. And I mean, you can play binding with binding if you like to, but I'm going to probably have double embellishment. I'm going to have Ascendance embellishment plus double amp on my offhand or my bracer. Preferably I get it on my bracer and my offhand gets to be mythic ones plus few eye levels on top. I mean, I guess for the Ascendance, I have to have a weapon or a shield, so I can't really choose any of this. So yeah, I'm choosing a shield probably or a weapon into double amplifier for my bracer. That's pretty much it. But if you want to have Ascendance embellishment, you need to have it in a weapon because it doesn't work anywhere else. Offhand or shield or main hand. But this dagger, Void Glass Chris, is gonna be absolute banger. If you get it, it's pretty hard to get it though. So just get lucky, dude. All right, so let's talk about rotation because I feel like that's gonna be the biggest concern here. You mostly play the same as last season. You can follow to the right here of your corner, but it's pretty much chain lightings into Ele Blast into Earthquakes. You want to play around your charge conduit. Make sure you spread enough Tempest and Elemental Blast through the targets you have. And if you have a prior target, you ignore this. You only Ele Blast the main target. But I'm gonna show you a small sample, and I'm gonna slow down and explain further exactly what I'm doing. Okay. I usually last season you delayed your elemental cast to extend your 4-piece. This season you can slam with elemental right at the beginning, don't really care. Alright, I usually like to cast my Primordial Wave right at the beginning because I feel like the nice haste amp I'm getting from is pretty good. But imagine right now there's a prior target and I'm focusing the prior target. If there wasn't a prior target, I will spread my Tempest on the mobs and my Elemental Blast. So yeah, as you can see, it's mostly Tempest, Chain Lightings, Elemental Blast to get your Echoes of the Great Sundering buff, and from here onwards you just keep on extending. I don't cast my Primordial Wave ever unless I get myself a proc of Ascendance. Right here, for example, as we speak, here we go. I send it, I get my haste, and I keep on pumping. Right? It's pretty simple rotation, honestly. Alright, let's slow down and talk about it. As you can see, what you do here is pretty simple. Chain Lightning, Ele Blast, cast with Tempest and Earthquake. The question comes is, what do you do when you don't have cooldowns? Because most of the time, you're going to end up having no cooldowns. There's several ways you can do. First, you see this week out here? It tells me when exactly I'm going to get my proc from the tier set. That's pretty useful. Make sure to hold resources for next pack. Maybe hold Ele Blast proc, hold Stormkeeper. Try to hold Primordial Wave if, for example, the pack is about to die. Unless you get a proc with DRE, you can use the P-Wave to get more haste, more cast, more damage. Right? CDR as well for your free chain lightnings. So it's kind of slippery slope. I don't want to hold my Elemental for my Ascendants. If I'm playing 2 minutes, I would desync them. Pretty much one of the packs I press 2 minutes, or a pack I just press Elemental and I hope for a proc. Yeah, I think that's pretty simple, right? I cast my Nature Swiftness mostly with my Ele Blast with Tempest, preferably Ele Blasts. And I try myself to maintain flexibility while doing my rotation with my Spirit Walker's Grace to move left and right. Okay? I hope that makes sense. For a single target, it's exactly the same rotation as last season. Nothing has changed except that you want to fit in your Primordial Wave anytime it's available. Because P-Wave means more haste, more cast, more damage, right? Slippery slope kind of chain reaction here. So I think that's pretty much the basics of Ele Shaman, because most of the time we're going to end up playing mass AoE. I can recommend you, if you like to watch more information or in general more in-depth guide, if that was too basic for you, you can always check out Ice Veins, you can always check Wowhead and ask your questions in a class Discord, Art Shrine. I'm pretty sure that if there's anything that you guys cannot find in this guide right now, you can find it there. But once again, any questions you guys have for me, leave them down in the comments. And as always, coaching spots are already open this season. If you're looking to get one-on-one coaching with me on Ele Shaman, sign up, links all down below. I'm going to be pushing myself as Ele the first 4 to 5 weeks before I, slow down with the season. So, yeah, trying to get some world first keys in the first couple of weeks. See if I can get a 50 in the first week. Hard mode task as well. And pretty much do my best to get to rank 1 DPS spot for a handful of weeks before I call it a quit and start playing some ults, But thank you guys for watching the video. Once again, if there's anything you guys want me to add to the guide, let me know. If you guys like to have more advanced guide, I can try to do that. But this is pretty much basic 101 how to play Ele. Peace out. See you guys on stream.